Namaste, Sabajana. First of all, I'm very grateful to the team of Thriving Soch who pulled this off together such brilliantly, despite all the hurdles that were thrown their way. And even a bigger thank you to all of you here tonight for coming and supporting us, because entrepreneurship, it can get very tough at times. And it is times like these that work as a soft pat on your back, and it gives you the energy to go on, and the energy for you to work harder. So I'd like to rewind and take you back to my childhood days and share a story that I grew up with. Yeah, धेरैलाई थाहा होला about this story. So, like every other story, it starts with once upon a time. And there was this king who had this great vision to build something in his country, in his region, that would attract people from all around the world. Something very unique, right? So he thought of building a pond, but one that's not filled with water. One that's filled with milk, दूध पोखरी, so literally a milk pond. So he's so excited by the vision. He shared it with everyone in his kingdom, and everyone got really excited by the thought, by the dream that maybe they can contribute to something that's going to bring people from all around the world into their country. So Rajale ke request garyo bhane, each one of the citizens had to bring a bucket of milk the next day to fill that empty whole ground. So everyone was excited. So let's take this instance of Ram bhanne character. He goes home, he's so excited, and but then he starts thinking, what difference will it make if I take a bucket of water instead of a bucket of milk, which is much more expensive? Everybody else is going to bring a bucket of milk, right? So what difference will that make? So to his shock, the next day, turns out everyone thought the same way that Ram did. So everyone comes with a bucket of water, assured that the other person would do the right thing, would be responsible enough to hold the vision, right? So त्यो गर्दाखेरि के भयो त त्यो दूध पोखरी पानी पोखरी नै भयो र अहिले त त्यो पानी पोखरीबाट पनि ट्र्याश पोखरी भइसक्यो back in Kathmandu, right? So why so it's a very common story, it's a very common storyline, one that most of us have heard, but the more that I think of it, the more relevant I find it, because we tend to underestimate our individual responsibility, our individual choices so much, and rely so much on the other person, we forget to do our part, we forget to make choices for ourselves and let fate decide. If we think of what difference will it make if I use one plastic bottle, or what difference will it make if I do not recycle one single piece of paper? But when all 7.5 billion of us start thinking the same, then there we have a huge problem. But when you think of it, how is my choice of planting trees, how will that make a difference? There is this one example in India, Jadav Payang, so he's known as the forest man of India. He spent 30 years of his life building a forest to save his island. and he was successful. Usko ekjana ko effort, his choice, your individual ko choice made that difference. Okay? So you need to think, what choices are you making every single second of your life? And how will that change your fate? How will that change the fate of the earth? And when all 7.5 billion of us start thinking that, then we have a changed world. Okay? So we often think to ourselves, कसरी change गर्ने world, देश कसरी change गर्ने? So it's very simple. It starts with you, right? So also another anecdote that I want to share is of, how many of you know about Kalanki Guru back in Kathmandu? I think you do, but you don't want to admit, right? So he's, ke bhancha त्यसलाई, fortune teller, psychic, whatever. You got the point, right? So apparently it takes 1 year's time to get an appointment with him. So wow, maybe next year's conference we can get him. But basically, I want to share this personal anecdote that my parents recently, they had to visit USA to attend my brother's graduation. It was very important to them, obviously, being parents. You don't want to miss out on that moment when your child graduates. So they didn't leave any stone unturned. So they even went to, I don't think the Kalanki Guru, but some other guru, to make sure that they get the visa. Ani janu bhayo, but Gurule, no, you won't get a visa bandin bhayo. So they're like very disheartened, lost all confidence. So you know how grilling the visa interview sort of it can be. So they went and they didn't get their visa. So they thought, yes, the first thing that comes to the mind is, oh, Guru was right, maybe. But then we talked about it. We said, it's such an important event for you. Why don't you try again? Why don't you give it another shot? And this time they were like, yes, I have nothing to lose, so maybe we give it all in and then we apply again. And the second time, they did get the visa, right? So what I'm trying to say is, it's a very simple example, a very harmful example. But when you put the same context in, let's say, had Mark Zuckerberg thought of it that way, we wouldn't have been connecting 2.5 billion people every single day today. And so many other examples that you'll hear. Agina pani sunnu bhayo, maybe about tutal suru hudaina thyo hola Shikshit dai, and so many other examples. I wouldn't have had the glorious opportunity to work with our amazing network of waste entrepreneurs. We call them our Khali Sisi friends. So faith bhaneko sabaikoma huncha. You all believe in something. Faith is fine, but the minute you let faith take control and you let faith decide for you, you let faith choose for you, that's where, we start having problems. So that's where we also start blaming others. त्यति बेला मेरो मम ड्याडहरूले यो सबै यो गुरुहरूले पैसा नपुगेको हो कि दक्षिणा नपुग्या हो कि त्यो भिजा लिने मान्छे वाज इन अ भेरी ब्याड मुड सो वी स्टार्ट ब्लेमिङ अदर्स इट्स अ भेरी सिम्पल इक्जाम्पल राइट सो रिसेन्टली पनि कति cases भएको छ where we've chose to blame others for all the misfortunes that have happened in our lives. But so when you let fate decide for you, when you let your faith decide for you, when you let others choose for you, this is what's going to happen. So you got to be very careful about all the choices that you make, and make sure that you make the choices for yourself on your own, right? Because it's your life after all, right? So today, that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about privilege and choices. Privileges can be easy, because after all, they're given out to you, they're handed out to you. Being born into a well-off family, well, that's a privilege, but how do you take the legacy forward? What choices do you make to make sure that you have a mark of your own? How do you take that legacy forward? It's again a very tough choice. So choices can be very tough. Privileges are easy. So I got the idea to start Khali Sisi 2 years ago, when I figured that the waste industry is close to 500 billion, is valued at close to $500 billion, and that we're already producing 2 billion tons of waste every single year, and that's increasing by 70% every year. So I thought to myself, what a fantastic opportunity to contribute to this problem that's defining our generation. It's a huge challenge, and if there's something that I can do, maybe I can create some sort of value that I can leave behind and others can come, build on it, and make it better. So that's how I thought of starting Khali CC. And thanks a lot. So coming to choices, so the first choice, I didn't think of it then, but in retrospect, now that I think of it, the first choice that I made was to enter this very traditional, heavily male-dominated 50 to 60-year-old business of waste. Are you all familiar with Khali CC Purano Kagaz Botal Phalam, the voice? Hey. So that's the voice that sparked Khali CC, actually. So they've been doing their business the same way for 50 to 60 odd years now. Can you imagine? And when I chose to get into this industry, a lot of comments were made about, why do you want to change something that's been happening for 50 to 60 years? You know, and it's rife with mafia and syndicates. It's very political. Maybe you're better off without changing that. Little did they know that was even more encouraging for me to get into this industry and challenge the status quo. So when I chose to enter the industry, I'm not trying to gender stereotype, but there are very few females in this industry, especially at the collection level. There are no females. So our Khali CC friends, the waste entrepreneurs, Dayaru, they were never used to working with a girl, especially somebody from outside their community. So in that case, to command discipline, to make sure they did what they were supposed to do, was a huge challenge. It still is, right? Because I remember my first meeting with my first Khali CC friend, Ram Sagar. So he was going about his business. I invited him to my house, and Koshima Thema, and then I started talking to him about how we can together, change Nepal. We can create a revolution in the waste industry. To which he laughed. He laughed off my face. He's like, "Gate बाट नछिराउने मान्छेलाई फोन गरी कसैले फोहोर लिन बोलाउँछ भनेर." He asked me that. So he's like, and he also asked, "So that's all right, but where are the sirs?" And sirहरू खै, because like I said, they were never used to working with a female. So, but I got so nervous at that point because it was so important for me to get him into the network. I said, "Yeah, there are other sirs. There's a bigger office somewhere else. This is just a first meeting." So I somehow got him into the network. And after 1 month of prototyping, he was able to earn 7,000 to 8,000 rupees extra. So after a month, he comes to me and he tells me, "Ma'am, I'm on my way home, and this time I'm buying all my 7 kids a gift." So, even the daughters, because he never used to buy anything for the daughters. And so I asked him, does my gender matter or your hard work matters? To which he gave me a very assuring smile. So it was reassuring for me that it is going to be tough, but if I could convince one Khali CC friend, maybe I can convince others as well. So after that, word spread, and other Khali CC friends reached out to us. They joined our network, and today they earn 30 to 35% more than what they used to earn before. But what's more important than that is, the fact that they've started to value their work. Paila, before it used to be extremely difficult even to get their photograph for the ID cards, because they would be so afraid that the word might spread that Kathmandu aera, they're working as kabadiwalas, bhaiyas, vanera. But today they take so much pride in it that they go out for interviews, they give presentations, and they share with people proudly with their families that, they're waste entrepreneurs. So they found that self-worth, which is extremely important. Yeah. So which is extremely important, not just for themselves, but even for the industry. When one is motivated, they work harder. And the harder our Khali CC friends work, the better it is for the environment, because they're more efficient, they're more smarter. So that's really helpful for the industry as well. So, and there's another story. So when we first started, I rented out a small space about the size of, I don't know how do you measure this, but I rented a small space of my mother-in-law's office. It used to be a store, so I asked her if I could use that for my office. She generously agreed. And so I used to have meetings with our Khali CC friends, and because we used to share the office space, so whenever a Khali CC friend used to come for a meeting, त्यो अर्को अफिसको मान्छेले चाहिँ ऊ आयो आयुषीको भैया for a meeting भनेर, there used to be that amusement, because people used to find it very weird for a Khali CC friend to be in a meeting, for a bhaiya, for a dhoti, for a madhesi to be in a meeting, right? But slowly, I didn't intervene, because that wasn't my job, right? So I didn't intervene, and we kept doing our meetings, we kept working our own way, and पछि बिस्तारै I didn't realize that एकैचोटि it hit me that एकजनाले बोलाउनु भयो, Aayushi, so Ram Sagar is here for a meeting, Subodh is here for a meeting, Mukesh is here for a meeting. So बिस्तारै that changed, that reference from a bhaiya, dhoti, to, first name, that changed, and that's been extremely phenomenal on many levels. किनभने खाली CC friends मलाई आफै आएर भन्नुहुन्छ, म्याम मलाई त आज सर भनेर बोलाउनु भयो, नामले बोलाउनु भयो. So, because there's so much of talks about technology when we talk about startup and stuff, but that happened with a simple piece of paper, that ID card. It's not a smart ID, it does not open doors, it doesn't do anything. It's just a simple ID with a photo and a name, that's it. And if a piece of paper like that could, bring such a change, not just in a Khali CC friends way of life, but even in general people. I know, हामीलाई त बच्चैदेखि मधेसी भैया भनेर, we don't mean it in a के भन्ने derogatory way, but in a way we are insulting the other person, and it's not right. We cannot make something like that normal and ordinary, because the minute it becomes normal, we think it's okay to do that, right? So त्यो खालको change was very inspiring. So के लाग्यो भने चाहिँ with the platform, we're not just trying to revolutionize the way the waste industry has been working, but also trying to create this culture that is going to live on forever. भोलि खाली CC होला नहोस् होला, but just that seed, that idea कि your choice to be kind, to have an open mind, can live on forever, and it can change someone's life. Okay? So it's all about choices again. So moving on to the other choice that really changed my life was, I figured as I started working, starting is easy, right? But to sustain that, to scale, to move further with the business, that's extremely tough. Mainly because it comes with taking a lot of tough decisions, making a lot of tough choices. Especially when you start in your head, I never thought I'm a female entrepreneur, or I'm a woman entering in this industry, or yesto huncha testo huncha. But I started getting those questions a lot. Then I started thinking ki it may not exist in my head, but the problem is real and it's out there. So I started Khali CC after I got married, and त्यति बेला I left a supposedly very decent job, about which my parents were never happy, you know. So I sat them down and I tried to explain them about the business that I was doing, and I just reached to the point कि okay, I quit my job, and त्यतिमै they were very happy. Like, okay, great, now finally you can start a family, you know. Like, yeah, I'm gonna have a baby, but maybe it's not human, okay? It's a startup. Like, not very amused. So they're like, ke garn layo? I told them I'm entering the waste industry. They were shocked, they were angry, they were confused, you know. There were a lot of things. So, waste industry ma jaan lako, it's such a dirty business, literally and figuratively. Haina त्यही mafia ko kura, it's political and all of that. So I figured मैले बोलेर मात्रै I cannot change my parents' mind. And if I cannot even convince them, how am I gonna take this concept forward and talk to people who I don't know? मेरो loved ones that could not understand me भनेपछि. So I decided I chose to keep quiet and let the work speak for itself. So I was also smart in a way so very fortunate that the media did great stories on us. And so every time an article about us came about, मैले 5-6 वटा copy घरमा पठाइदिन्थेँ, because you know how Nepali parents are like, right? In media मा आयो भने maybe she's doing something right. So 5-6 copies तुरुन्तै मेरो parents का. So बिस्तारै so there was this one event actually. It was a very formal event. मेरो sister को थियो अनि her in-laws and everyone त्यो family को were present in the event. अनि त्यति बेला I had already started Khali CC को prototyping. So I thought मेरो ध्यान चाहिँ बारमै गयो के. Not for any other reason, but because त्यहाँबाट obviously के निक्लिन्छ? Khali CCs, right? So I thought, why don't I experiment here? अनि मैले त सोच्छु नि मेरो in-laws, मेरो sisterको in-laws and all of that. So as soon as the bar opened, I went to the bar and bartenderलाई गएर so सबै Khali CC मेरो भने. He's like, he looks at me, what? Are you already drunk? You know, you're asking for an empty bottle. Like, yeah. So collect गरिरह्यो उसले empty bottle अनि मैले चाहिँ कार्टुन पनि थिएन somehow. So I got this huge bag of plastic अनि त्यसमा हाल्दै गयो अनि कति वाइनको ब्लच मेरो त्यो लुगामा पनि छ अहिले. So I kept doing that अनि मेरो parents are like staring at me, wishing that they didn't know me, हैन, amongst their family members. त गर्दै I hadn't thought of it at all. त्यसपछि after a while, then my father comes in and he joins me. Ekle ke gara kamal help bhanera. So he started helping me out to carry that Khali CC with me while the party was still going on. It hadn't ended. So that was assurance enough for me कि हो रहेछ, साँच्चै रहेछ, you know, बोलेर मात्रै के पनि हुनेवाला छैन. If your work is not convincing and it's not going to speak for itself, it's going to do nothing, right? So मैले त्यो गरेको देखेर होला, that choice to still go about picking up those Khali CC bottles, maybe that created some sort of dent in my father's mind and he started helping me. And त्यसपछि चाहिँ I was assured कि okay, you know, I can do this. मेरो father जस्तो त्यो generationको मान्छे, because I'm pretty sure यहाँ धेरैको parentsहरूसँग कति, you know, you may have a lot of disagreements on many things. So त्यो generationको मान्छेले पनि यस्तो innovative ideaलाई अपनाउनु भनेको it's a huge achievement in itself. So that's how I took it. I don't know if that is what it was, but I was positive about it. So, you know, त्यसरी चाहिँ we moved ahead. त्यसपछि the other choice that I want to talk about is business start garyo. You know, you choose to sustain, but you also need to be very clear on why are you doing what you're doing, not just in terms of business or entrepreneurship, in anything. You know, just ask yourselves, whatever you're doing, why are you doing that, right? So that clarity in terms of vision is extremely important. And as cliched as it sounds, a lot of us don't do that. We don't give it a thought. Kina, why banera, right? But it always starts with why. So, talking about digital divide, how many of you here know about Sophia, the humanoid? Yeah? A few yeses, right? So, we are very fortunate to have access to such information, you know? But imagine there's so many equally passionate and hardworking, even more hardworking than any one of us in this room, you know, who do not have that access to such knowledge about the likes of Sophia or something as simple as a smartphone. Right? So, we talk so much about rich and poor, the poverty line, but it's equally important to talk about the digital divide. You know? The poverty line ma hunu bhanda muni hunu bhanda digital line, I don't know what it's called, but त्यसको muni hunu pani it's equally dangerous, right? So our Khali CC friends pani they didn't carry a smartphone, and here I was with a business plan to start a tech company with the Khali CC friends. The idea was not to replace them, but to take them along. Eh? So कसरी गर्ने with people who don't even use smartphones. So again, you know, but the clarity of why always stuck with me and our team. So जुन हाम्रो vision थियो to build Nepal as one of the top 20 recycling nations in the world 2030. It's a big, audacious, very bold vision. It always challenges us every single day. You know, it gives us that energy. So Khali CC दाइहरुसँग कुरा गर्दाखेरि उनीहरु त स्मार्टफोन पनि नबोक्ने के पनि नबोक्ने कसरी गर्ने त. So he said, you know, let them see the worth of being in the platform. So जब रामसागर दाइहरु जस्तो मान्छेले 7,000-8,000 extra कमाउन थाल्नु भयो, all the changes, all the impacts that they first-handedly experienced themselves, so that made them motivated to work harder and smarter. They bought smartphones on their own. We didn't give them any of that from the company. So उनीहरुले आफ्नै स्मार्टफोनहरु किन्नु भयो. They showed so much of curiosity and interest to learn about digital technologies that are available out there. Something as simple as Google Maps, something as simple as WhatsApp, as Messenger, you know. So they don't just use YouTube to listen to Bhojpuri songs, but they're also using Messenger and WhatsApp for their business, you know, to reach out to us. हामीलाई लेखेर मलाई पनि ID card चाहियो. As simple as that, but so powerful, right? So that choice of being clear on your vision, on the why, it's very important because it drives you and it gives you the energy to overcome challenges, which in startups is very ordinary, very common. You know? So what I'm trying to say is, again, we are our choices. You know? I'll share one of my favorite quotes. It's a hero can be anyone. Most of you must have heard of it. It's even Batman's favorite quote, right? So a hero can be anyone because I've seen this myself. Hamro jab Khali CC friend, right? He chose to educate his girl child, despite all the, you know, comments and opinions that were passed his way by his own family members. Why do you need to educate her? She's going to get married someday. It's just a waste of money and time. A smarter girl means she's out of your hand and stuff like that. But he chose to educate his girl because he could afford to. He brought her to the city, Kathmandu, and he is educating her. But that simple act, you know, that simple choice it's created such a ripple. You know, but that's an example for others to follow. So that simple choice didn't just change the fate of that girl, it possibly will change the fate of many other girls, right? So it's all about choices. So again, we are our choices. Whether you choose to stay in Australia, or whether you choose to go back home, or whether you choose to stay in any part of the world, do whatever you are doing, you can always make a choice that can change your fate, that can change, that can become the choice of this generation, and a choice that we are going to leave for generations to come. So I'm just going to leave you with one question. Make a choice, and for yourself, think about what's your story. Yeah, thank you.